we go first against Tameshi. Nice. Really, man, this deck is something else. I really like this. Made a lot of green-white decks lately, and I honestly don't know why they're not more popular. They're really good. They're just really good. Calix is going to be pretty decent as well to exile their stuff. They're keeping mana open, though, so who knows? If we go for Calix, it's going to get countered potentially, but at least we can recast it later. Then I'd rather save the Corsair to play lands off the top. Shark Typhoon. Wow. No counters. We have come to a new era, people. A new era. A new age. Welcome to the new age. Unless they're going to blast it into smithereens with a cannon. Or a bounce, or exile, perhaps. The Celestus, you say? Okay. We could just straight up use the Skyclave. But I'd rather go for the Calix. Get some more value. Just drawing a card each turn is wild. Like, yeah, I know they've ramped one, but and we're not actually getting any advantage from the trigger here, but now they have to deal with a Planeswalker version of Calix. Tome of the Infinite. Interesting. So they're gonna get random cards. I used to think this card was good, but in hindsight, after some usage, I don't know. Random. I'm not a fan of random, to be honest. Let's get some more enchantments, guys. More l'enchantement. Oh my goodness. Elspeth Conquers Death.
The patterned future appears before me.
Oh my goodness. I think we just absolutely wreck him here. If this resolves. Wow. This is why people quit, isn't it? This is why people quit. Elspeth Conquers Death times 2 on turn 5. What the hell? Why are people not using this deck? So this deck is a lot like Sithis, which is right here. 2 mana, 1/2 whenever you cast Enchantment. Game 1, live, draw a card. So the shell for Sithis can be pretty similar to Calix. You probably don't want to be as aggressive because you need some bigger things to take advantage of the ability. But Calix is pretty strong, just in a different way, and I'm glad it's not strictly better because it would just be so terrible. But yeah, so whenever he or another enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, put a counter on a creature, which doesn't seem that good, but when you stack it, it does get really good. And whenever he or enchanted creature deals combat damage, create a token that's a copy of a non-legendary enchantment you control. This is actually crazy, especially when you consider stuff like Mirari's Wake is an enchantment non-legend. If you get 2 of these out, you're going to get so much mana. 3 times the mana is just bonkers. But the main thing you'll be doing with Calix is playing removal spells in the term of cards like Heliod's Punishment, Circle of Confinement, these kind of cards. Creating copies of these is basically free removal spell, and it just compounds and chains off, because if you play one of these down to remove an enemy blocker and then you hit in, you'll most likely get a copy of this and just tie down another one of your opponent's creatures. The funniest thing you can do is just completely stop their commanders from doing anything. So stuff like Trapped in the Tower means they can't attack or block, and its activated abilities can't be activated, so you can lock down a lot of commanders with this. Demotion is interesting because it does the same, but it can't, well, it's sort of the same, it just can't block. It can still attack, though, so be wary of that. But if you put it on a defender, for instance, it's really good. One of the nicest synergies you can do in the deck is not even an enchantment, it's just with Esper Sentinel. Putting more counters on this guy makes it hard for your opponent to not give you cards whenever they play spells. And of course, whilst you're playing loads of enchantments, you're going to get Sithis out and Satyr Enchanter. And when you do, you're going to draw even more cards. So it just gets absolutely crazy. The best win cons in the deck, probably Ancestral Mask, gives the creature +2/+2 for each other enchantment on the field. And as you can imagine, if you're copying this with a Calix effect, having 2 or 3 of these out is so silly. I think once had 3 of these out, and it was pretty impossible for the opponent to win at that point. Hallowed Haunting is also really good because whenever you cast an enchantment spell, you get a spirit, whereas power taps equals number of spirits, so it's spirit squared power. I think that's most of what the deck is. It's actually really strong, and I'm surprised because it's quite linear. Pretty basic, but it's satisfying to be able to actually beat big decks with this, and it's something I have been doing. But you wait now, you'll see my gameplay. I'll probably get beaten by loads of attracts and stuff. Yeah, we'll see what happens today. The deck list will be in the description below, so make sure to check that out. And you can always support the channel if you appreciate what I'm doing here by donating below or becoming a channel member, which in these hard times is very nice for anyone to do. Let's get into the games. Oh, okay, so I've got a really nice starting hand. It's a shame we're going second, but they should be a bit slower than us, to be honest. This is almost a god hand, to be honest. Okay. Do this. Elvish Mystic. Yeah, I'll go for the Elvish Mystic. I mean, next turn we could even go for Calix if we wanted, but I think maybe the Sentinel. I'm not sure. They're ramping. Yeah, let's go for the Calix. And see where we go from there. We go for the Guardian Project next. I don't know. There's a lot of different things. We could have played the Sentinel there, and then next turn made it bigger, which is something I like to do. But I like to get this guy out pretty early so we can start being aggressive. Cultivate. Okay, so they're going to have some humongous spells next turn, potentially. All that glitters. Let's go for the Guardian Project. So we're gonna get a copy of the Guardian Project, which is silly, very silly. Start spreading the counters a little bit. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mana, so they can go for Coma or something silly like that. Oh, Coma would be really bad. Maybe for random. Let's see what random gets them. A Mana Rock. Not too worried about that. That's the thing about Emoti. It's very good, but I guess in the long run it's better. Kin Druid, another blocker. Can we win this turn? I don't know. Let's see. I'll seed. Comes down, draws 2. Wow. Elswith conquers death. All that glitters. Give it protection, maybe? They're going to want to block this, surely. And what, 2 mana up. We need 1 mana for this. Let's try and swing in. They're probably just going to block with the Leafkin Druid. Yes, no? Maybe so? Okay. Having the protection from a colour here is great, as long as it's not something like an Ulamog. Wow, they're just going to let me hit them. Okay. That is interesting. Let's get a copy of Alseed. And spread the love. Right, so now I've got 2 protection effects for Calix, so let's see. As I said, Ulamog won't care about the protection because it's colourless. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Jingataxius. Okay. Into Llanowar Elves. Quite underwhelming. Quite funny. So they're going to get to top up their hand, and we lose our hand on our end step. But I think they're just dead because we can make Calix unblockable. They draw 7, then they discard down to 7. Because it doesn't actually give you infinite hand size, oddly enough. So he lets you research, but the lab is a finite size. Can't. 0, 1. This is equal to an artifacts and enchantments. Okay. So we need to have 2 mana up. Let's use this. But they've got blue and green, so we need to give it protection from both. Okay, we have to be very careful here because we're going to lose 2 enchantments doing this. So it can't be blocked by green. And it can't be blocked by blue. And we've got 3 mana up. I think that's enough because this gives a power boost as well. So that was the perfect card. So we can't give him the counter because it's pro-green. Laurent Escape as well. And it's Xaxes, isn't it? So it can't be blocked. Oh my goodness. Oh, that was super lucky. He had Xaxes. Nice. So our starting hand isn't very good. It's not very proactive. I mean, yeah, it's just too defensive. Let's mulligan this. Oh, I mean, we've got the Enchantress's Presence, I suppose. That is very good. So their deck is going to be Impulse Tribal. So basically, whenever they exile things and play them, lands or spells, they get a Thopter with haste, which is really powerful. I think what I want to do now, though, is use the Heliod's Punishment on this, just to slow them down a bit. Because I've seen the power of this Pianilla, and she's actually really powerful. It's one of those ones where you don't think it will be, but it is. It really is. White and red open. Okay, let's go for the presence here. So if this result, hopefully no mana time. So whenever we play enchantments, we get to draw cards, which is just a really lovely ability. And then next turn we can go for Calix with the Laurent Escape up, which is going to be really nice. Chandra comes down to play.
Listen, pal,
and she's very strong as well.
You might as well give up already.
Because she can ramp
You're lucky this is a warning
and exile spells. Okay, so yeah, we'll go for the Calix, put a counter on himself. And I think the Laurent Escape is going to be really, really good here because I predict they're going to try and kill him. And obviously, worst case scenario, we can just put the demotion on Calix just to draw a card and put a counter on him, which is quite funny, actually. I guess the only downside here is if they make Thopters with the Pianilla, it's going to be very difficult to attack in. Okay, so there's one more counter left, so they have to take another counter off. So slowing them down for 4 turns is pretty legit, really. Especially in an aggro deck like theirs. In a weird way, I kind of want to try and kill Calix. Okay, Bone Crusher Giant. Let's see what we got going on then. So we don't have removal for the Bone Crusher. But we can play Dryad, which gives us a few triggers. We can play an additional land as well. Oh, Sword. So we have the removal. I really want to kill the Bone Crusher here. That would be really good. Let's try and kill it. I want to kill the Chandra because the value she provides is just so good. Frostbite. Why are they targeting it with that's only 2 damage? I'm a bit confused. Yeah, I think they made a mistake there doing that. I don't know why they did that, to be honest. Did they think it was a temporary boost? But yeah, so we had, just to go back a little bit there, we could have attacked Chandra, taken it down, or even more tempting, we could have probably attacked them to create a token copy of Enchantress's Presence, and we could have played the Demotion on Calix to draw 2 cards, and just see where we go on from there. And the next turn we could make another Presence. But yeah, I think that was the road to victory. I'm just a bit confused by that Frostbite play, sadly. Well, you know what I'm going to say, keeping this hand, because the Llanowar Elves. Silly. Silly deck. Always an elf. Having 2 of these elves now makes it just ridiculous. Oh my goodness. And a Satyr Enchanter as well. Fingers crossed they don't have any removal. They could just kill us all with a Pyroclasm. Luckily that's not in the format. Dragons cost 1 less. Okay. Let's just draw a card. Oh, we get a land as well. Wonderful. Let's make Calix bigger here. I mean, I could have made the Satyr Enchanter bigger, but I'd rather protect Calix from shocks and stuff. If we get white mana, next turn we can go for the Nahiri's Binding. Let's see what we want to do. Enchant permanent. I think this is the way. Because we can stop two things. Because we're going to clone it on attack. Yeah. Yeah, let's attack with all. This deck is stupid. So take action. We'll enchant the Jade Orb, so that shouldn't be able to tap, I don't think. That is a cast trigger, though, so we're not going to get the... Oh, Mirari's Wake. Oh my god. Is there a way to get rid of that? Feature on... Oh, okay, now things get a bit hairy. Reprobation, Destiny Spinner. Right, let's just play stuff. I mean, good news is we are going to be able to... We will be able to stop whatever they play. It's just... If they have some kind of board wipes, be pretty bad. Activated abilities. There's some mana abilities. I guess we'll get another Destiny Spinner. Only issue is, they could have a huge spell, like an ultimatum or something. Oh my goodness, we beat the Tiamat with the Mirari's Wake out. Crazy, what the heck? We go first with a... Okay, Han actually got some removal. 1, 2, 3 removal pieces. Synergy piece, which is ever so nice to see. So they start hitting the creatures early. We can get rid early-ish. Esper Sentinel. Yoicks. I don't want to give them a card just yet, though. Lands. Oh, Esper Sentinel turn 1 is really, really nasty. It's very, very nasty. No blue open, though. Bit sus. Faithless looting. Putting stuff into the yard. Which is exactly what Narset wants to see. Oof. Zada. Zada. What if we just played our general? What would happen? Maybe not the best. Or maybe it is. Is this a good timing for the general? Nah, let's just get rid of the Sentinel first. We don't know what removal they have. They probably have a lot of removal in their hands. I think if we can get out the Hallowed Haunting, though, and start yoinking enchantments, it's going to be... Not yoinking, so just creating spirits. That's going to be pretty good. Mirex gives them... Any colour. Oh, Sprite Dragon. Not scary just yet. Okay, so from next turn onwards, things could get good. So this doesn't tap the blue. Okay, so they don't have any blue now. But they're going to have a lot of things that can get prowess and such. Okay. Okay, let's start drawing cards and gaining creatures, guys. Drawing and gaining things is... Wow, the triggers here are so crazy. Slowing down the Sprite Dragon is great. We're probably going to save the Kenrith's Transform for the Narset, but obviously they don't need blue mana. I think they might be a bit screwed here. In regular games of 1v1, seeing a Sprite Dragon and a Swift Spear, it's not what you want to see, to be honest. But, you know, we're making creatures with power. It's like exponential almost. 3/3/3s, 4/4/4s, 5/5/5s, just crazy. So we're not blocking here because they blatantly have some kind of pump spell. Taking the counter off. Trapped in the tower. Right, let's go for the Calix. Wow, there's so many lovely triggers. This is exactly what we want to do with the deck. For Seiju. Could be good. Make one of those even bigger. Do they have a kill spell for Calix? Swords. That's a shame. But we can recast them next turn. Using spells on our turn is good because it means they get less stuff to do in their turn. Playing more mana is always fine as well. 2 removal spells. I think we just attack in with the 4/4 and just take it slow for now. No need to rush just yet. Still don't have a blue source, which is a bit odd. Oh, defeating Narset feels good because I respect that power level greatly. Oh, we can't refuse an Esper Sentinel turn 1, can we, guys? This could be one of my strongest decks I've ever made, and it's just testament to Calix, I think. It's just nice design. I still don't think he's actually... Like, he's really good, but there's still hoops you have to jump through. You have to play enchantments, and you have to hit. So, there's that. Oh, baby. Shaper's Sanctuary as well. So, they try and kill Sentinel now. We get to draw 2 cards. Unless they pay mana to stop us drawing a card. Beautiful. They could just go for Toralf. But we have the Borrowed Time. So not too bothered. Lol. Pun intended. As if we draw so many cards. That's so powerful. I mean, even just the one there. It's fine. Yeah, we'll go for the Weaver. We can play the tap land. It's not looking good for them, is it? I mean, I know red can burst damage, but it's not a combo deck, I don't think. So, we'll see. I still think we try and remove it if they go for it, though. Because they basically have Feature Planeswalker deals excess non-combat damage, trample damage sort of thing. Let's try and get rid of it here. All these words in the way. I doubt they'll have enchantment removal. It's not impossible, but it's unlikely. Slowly whittle them down. Red should be really good against us because red normally has, does one or so ways to kill our things. So there's one spell. I mean, they're using a lot of spells here early, which suggests that they may have more for Calix. This can get rid of creatures, planeswalkers. This gets rid of anything. So let's kill the primal amulet here. We don't want double spells. No, 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 no. No double spells for you. 3, 4, 5, 6 next turn. Might go for the Guardian Project, depending on what they do. Arcane Bombardment. Oh god, that's scary as heck. So now they can copy spells from the graveyard. So our Calix is just not safe whatsoever. Okay, now I'm worried. Now I am very worried. Oh, we need a way to kill this. Because, I mean, they've only got kill spells at targets. Oh no, now they've got haste as well. No. At least we'll be drawing a couple cards here. One for when this comes in, and then another if they target. So we'll see what they do. If anything at all. Okay, maybe the Ancestral Mask saves us then. +2 for each other enchantment on the battlefield, including opponents, might I add. So it's a 15-15. 16-16. That's ridiculous. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Whoa. That is a silly billy. I've never seen such a big creature with one enchantment. Holy crap. I think that was going to go the other way without that enchantment. Oh, wow. This is This is such a strong hand. Sithis and Setessan Champion. The only issue is they've got Jund colours, so all of our things are probably going to die. Probably better known as death. Okay, so let's just risk it, I guess. If they have the removal, they have the removal. I mean, this is our backup commander. Oh, we get to get a hit out of these Sithis, which is good. Swords as well. Wow, okay. Let's draw a card here. Sweet. Let's try and protect the Sithis if possible. What's the worst case scenario? Board wipe? Always. It's always a board wipe, isn't it? Those dreaded 2-for-1s. Murderous Rider. Okay. Sure thing. And I guess we'll just play the backup, which is the Setessan Champion. And we have yet another backup with the Satyr Enchanter as well. Lols. Slow them down as well. Man, I kind of can't believe how many of these abilities there are in green, right? Like cast enchantment, draw a card. This is an ETB enchantment, draw a card, but yeah, very similar. Oh, Rory, that's something you don't see every day. Okay. We can just straight up get rid. Yeah, this is a very explosive deck. Like, you know, it doesn't take many cards to take out your opponent. We've got the protection now, the Tamio safekeeping, which is extra funky. Boom, boom. And All That Glitters is probably one of the better cards in the deck. So attach it to that to give it... diversify the threats. And we get another counter. Oh my goodness. That is loopy. Loopy doopy. So now they need something very good. But I think they're dead because we've got the safekeeping. Make a sack a creature and we'll lose a life. So if we go for the Calix... And the reason for that is we can always recast the Calix, but we don't have access to a secondary Setessan Champion. Invasion of Asgol. Very cool card, very cool artwork. Murderous Rider coming down. So this is enchanted, so if it hits, it means Calix gets another trigger, which is just wonderful. Drawing a card again and swinging in. I'm guessing they're going to block. Because if they don't, they just... yeah, wouldn't make any sense. And the good news is, even if they do clear our field, we have another way to draw cards on a chance, which is really, really powerful. Although they go for the Victus Asmadi here. No haste, though. Which means they're just using it as a blocker, pretty much. We can use this and target nothing, just to draw a card. I mean, it's very aggressive, isn't it? But I think we have to make the champion lethal threat here. Right, let's swing in. It's not lethal, but... wow. Gonna get an extra card. Let's go for the All That Glitters. Targeting the Calix. It can get a little bit confusing with all these triggers, guys, but... another counter here. Oh, and here he's binding. Which, sadly, we don't have the white mana for. But, what if we did... this? And I think we've got him, guys. Here he's binding. More triggers. Yeah. Whoa. Just totally... this is crazy. I actually think I prefer this to Sithis, to be honest. It feels... somehow it feels stronger, and I don't know how. It costs more mana, but cloning stuff is sometimes better than drawing a card, because with drawing a card, you get random, but with cloning, you get your best thing X2. But then you don't always have a good thing out. So there's a risk and reward there. Did you know that you can help my channel by watching another one of my videos? Go ahead, you know you want to.